Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for September 22nd, 2022 from John chapter 3, Transitions. Transitions are sometimes hard. We like the old familiar ways, but sometimes the transitions just need to take place. Keep this in mind as we go into John chapter 3, beginning with verse 22. After this, Jesus and his disciples went into the Judean countryside, and he remained there with them and was baptizing. John also was baptizing at Aenon, near Salem, because water was plentiful there, and people were coming and being baptized, for John had not yet been in prison. So here you have the disciples of Jesus baptizing and the disciples of John the Baptist baptizing. So should there be a conflict among the men of God who are doing these baptisms? Well, consider our sinful nature is strong, even among the men of God. Verse 25. Now, a discussion arose between some of John's disciples and a Jew over purification. And they came to John and said to him, "Rabbi, he who was with you across the Jordan, to whom you bore witness, look, he is baptizing, and all are going to him." Well, talk about stretching the truth just a little bit. All the people were not going over to Jesus because John the Baptist was still baptizing, unless the people were, of course, double dipping. But notice how John the Baptist explains this. Verse 27. John answered, "A person cannot receive even one thing unless it be given him from heaven." Oh, what a beautiful statement and answer to their question. People cannot do a thing from God unless it was first given to them from God. We need to remember that faith is a gift from God. We receive what God gives. Christianity is not a man-made religion, but God reveals himself to humanity. John the Baptist then continues, verse 28, "You yourselves bear witness that I have said, I am not the Christ, but I have been sent before him. The one who has the bride is the bridegroom. The friend of the bridegroom who stands and hears him rejoices greatly at the bridegroom's voice. And therefore, this joy of mine is now complete." We need to remember that the church is the bride of Christ, so Christ is the groom. John the Baptist is, in this analogy, as the friend of the groom. But John the Baptist, along with all believers, are actually the bride of Christ. So John the Baptist states, "This joy of mine is now complete." For John the Baptist sees the church growing. But because of the disciples of John, the Baptist may want things spelled out a little bit clearer. John the Baptist then states, verse 30, "He must increase, but I must decrease." The he is referring to Jesus. Jesus must increase, whereas John the Baptist has done what was expected, so John the Baptist must decrease. John the Baptist stated that Jesus is the Christ, the Messiah, so we are to put our faith and trust in the Messiah, not the forerunner of the Messiah. John the Baptist continues, referring to Jesus, verse 31. "He who comes from above is above all. He who is of the earth belongs to the earth and speaks in an earthly way. He who comes from heaven is above all. He bears witness to what he has seen and heard, yet no one receives his testimony." John the Baptist correctly notes that Jesus is from heaven and is speaking God's word. The conclusion is this transition from John the Baptist to Jesus the Messiah must take place for our salvation. God's peace and many blessings be with you, and thank you for listening. And please take an opportunity to share this message with others. If you have enjoyed these daily devotions, please consider making a donation to Peace Lutheran Church, 24024 West Main Street, Plainfield, Illinois, 60544. Thank you again for listening.